I'm here with Cardinals head coach Ryan Nill. You guys just beat Franklin 33-19, but how would you summarize it in your own words?
We talked about it at the end of the game. We've talked about it for the last couple of weeks. You know, we had a tough schedule. We drove 10 hours to Boise. We played a really good Boise high school football team. We've had to persevere through a lot over the last 4 weeks. And we just knew that setting up that type of schedule was going to allow us to compete with a competitive Franklin team. Franklin's done good things. Coach McCray's done great things over there over the last few years since he took over. So we knew we need to continue to build off these tough games that we played, and then the results showed tonight.
Yeah, what was the difference in tonight's game versus those first four? Obviously, you mentioned the stiff competition, but as far as your team executing, what was the difference?
Running the football, right? Laguna Creek has always been known for running the ball. We've always been able to block up front. We've always had great running backs through this school forever, and we weren't able to do that through the first 4 weeks. We played tough teams that were up front, that had big bodies up front, and our O-line got to play a team that was a little bit more, to their competition, or is not as big as the teams that we have played, and they controlled the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and what's the feeling like just being able to notch your first victory of the season?
It feels great. And we talked about all week not to freak out, right? That 0-4, yes, but even last year through 5 games we were 1-4. And then we went 4-1 throughout the back half of the year and went into the playoffs. That's still the goal now. The goal is to finish 6-4 this year. Those are the expectations. We're not going to give ourselves a loss before we play the game. So we're 1-4 now. The goal is to be 6-4. The goal is to make it to the postseason for 3 years in a row.
Has that been the message that you've been preaching to the team, just looking back at last season and seeing how you guys started? It was similar this year. Is that basically what you're preaching to them, to try and repeat that same kind of storyline?
Yeah, absolutely. We try to speak life into these guys quite a bit, and we talk to them about how football can be a vehicle to learn life lessons. Right, losing a game of football is a big deal, sure, when you're a high school kid, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. So it's learning, like, you have to persevere, you have to keep pushing. At some point, you're going to get a win, and so that's why they stayed together. In today's world, these guys, like, things become such a big deal so quickly, right? They start pointing the finger, they start playing the blame game. These guys don't do that. They stayed together, they worked hard, they got in the weight room. We knew the wins are going to come.
Mm-hmm. What does this rivalry with Franklin mean to you personally?
I mean, a lot. Like, when I was a freshman is when this school got built. And so, you know, our whole 8th grade class went to 2 different schools. So some of us went to Laguna, some of us went to Franklin. And so it's a friendly rivalry, right? Obviously, they've gotten us a few years. We've been lucky enough to get them the last 3 years, and we're going to keep pushing and work on CO next week. Just
for detail's sake, what year did you graduate from Laguna?
2006.
Got you.
Yep.
And when it comes to Levi's performance tonight with those 4 touchdowns, he was saying this is arguably the best game of his athletic career. Just what did you think of how he did tonight?
Levi's been great. And the best part about Levi is he still hasn't even reached his potential. He's a big back that's learning how to run behind his pads. He's learning how to be part of an offense. He's learning of multiple plays. He has a very high ceiling. We're excited for it.
Yeah, and when it...
It's the offense coordinator.
when it comes to Ryan, he really stepped up in this game, especially on that fake punt on 4th down and Superman dive for the first down. Just what was going through your mind on that play?
So I've known Ryan since he was born, and his dad, who just walked by, was my offensive coordinator in high school. And so Ryan looked over at me. I gave him that signal, like, if you see it, go ahead and take it. And it was funny because the other 10 guys ran up to me like, Coach, you didn't tell us what we were doing. And I was like, that was just between me and Ryan. If he had an opportunity, he was going to make the most of it. And he did, and it was a hell of a football play. It was huge in the momentum swing for us, and continuing to keep that momentum throughout the game. It was big stuff.
And finally, I know that we talked earlier about just how last season you guys were able to roll through